Hey guys, let's go ahead and get started with a message from our spirit guides, angels, and ancestors. We're going to see what the most important messages the collective needs to hear right now. What is the most important messages? I'm going to do some on finance right now because I know a lot of people are having issues with their finances and what they should be focusing on when it comes to their finances. So we've got frame, we've got coins, and we've got the tree. Okay, you're building towards something. You've already started doing the framework on something in the past. Okay, and bottom of the deck, we've got skull. There's been some type of a rough patch for you in the past on something that you've done a lot of framework on. But I feel like it's like, yeah, whenever we start a business and we start building a business, it's going to cost you money to make money, right? You have to pay to play. Okay. And that's what I'm seeing here. But I do feel like you're reinventing something, especially when it comes to your self-employment. It's not easy being self-employed, especially with an economy the way that it is right now. It's like literally by design that they want us working for corporations so that they can have control over how much money that we make and what we're paying out so that they know what our, inflow and, ebb and flow is when it comes to our finances, because technically they're in control of all of that. So they can tax us accordingly. But I feel like, listen, anybody can go to work for corporate. And that's what this is saying. Anybody can go to work for corporate. And listen, they don't even have to give you a 2-week notice when they fire you. So basically, you're at will when you go into a relationship with a corporation. It's not easy building a business. It's not easy doing the work and being your own marketing and, like having to design, emails to go out and, and then be creative as to the content or whatever it is that you're selling, whatever your goods and services are. That's not easy because yes, it has to come from you every single day. It's not trickling down from someone else who's telling you what you need to do on a daily basis. You're much more in control of that. I posted something the other day by, us raising our vibration. It's going to be harder and harder for us to do the mundane 9 to 5 corporate jobs and things like that. It's time that you start investing in you, investing in, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a designer, maybe you're like every one of us has a superpower. And that's what this is saying is like, if you are able to believe in yourself and reinvent yourself into the market, you wouldn't have to just settle for the status quo or a salary. The universe doesn't like it when we put ourselves in salaries because we're saying, okay, I'm willing to do the work for 10 different people for this amount of money. And usually when people are on salary, they're typically taken advantage of. Okay. 9 times out of 10, they're definitely taken advantage of. But this is about, planting a seed and watching it grow. And I feel like maybe for some of you, if you are already a business owner, maybe you've already grown as far as you can grow in the industry that you're in or on the topic of what it is that you're doing. And I see this as you like branching off and from all the things that you've already done, branching off and starting something new, something that it's like, that is like a seed of what you've already planted. So I feel like you'll be able to make more money. And it's almost like, I see these people who go from job to job to job to job. And I am guilty of that. Like back in the day, I would go, like I was in the restaurant industry for 20 plus years. And all I knew was the restaurant industry. So I would end up getting fired from one, restaurant, and I would go to the next restaurant and I'd go to the next restaurant. And then I was a bartender and I'd go to the next bar and I'd go to the next bar. And instead of realizing that maybe I should just be changing career paths altogether. Maybe this just isn't my industry. And that's why I continue to get terminated from the industry, because it wasn't that I wasn't good at my job. I came with an amazing reputation and still do in that industry. Some people don't like me, but that's because I don't put up with shit. But it just wasn't my place. And that's why I was catching shit. And maybe that's what you're being asked to do, is start looking at, like, is this the industry that I am really supposed to be a part of? And if I'm constantly catching shit in this industry, or, I'm not able to make money anymore doing the things that I'm doing, maybe it's time for me to invest in myself. Maybe invest in taking a class, or invest in, some form of new education, so that you have information, so that you can start something new. I do feel like there is this new pathway that is opening up for the collective to make new money. And I feel like it's new money, not old money. But it can be based off of that old money. So let's look at, your prosperity. Let's look at your prosperity. Oh my God, look here, you guys. All that glitters. And when I see that, and we're talking about prosperity, maybe for some of you, it's from working from home, And it's funny too, if you're in a partnership, having the right partner where, where one of you can work from home, so that you're not having to pay for daycare, the other one goes to work and the other one works from home, or vice versa. But also seeing that not all that glitters is gold. Making sure that whatever you're doing is going to be built on a solid foundation. And if it's not built on a solid foundation, then it's not going to grow. It's going to take you off your beaten path. What do we got here? Chopped wood. This is about tending to the details. This is about, tending to the small stuff. Whenever I see the chopped wood, it's almost like deadheading, right? It's deadheading the plants, so that, like, in this tree, it has leaves that died. So you need to pull those off so that it's not sucking out the vitamins and nutrients from the tree getting what it needs, right? I almost feel like that, like when it comes to your job, it's like, for some of you, you've been doing things by the book, by whatever book you've been taught, go into the corporate world, have somebody else make your paycheck, rely on the government for, rely on everybody else. But what they're doing is taking you further and further away from yourself. And why is it that we are taught that we are supposed to go by this invisible book? Like, who put this book into action for you? Like, and if you're over the age of 18, you have an opportunity for you to rewrite that book. And maybe it's time for you to do the framework on yourself. It's time for you to invest in yourself. For some of you, it's like if you ask for a raise, that's a red flag at your place. Anytime you've asked for a raise, they always give you like a pizza party. A pizza party is not a raise. A pizza party is not a bonus. It's fucking pizza. And actually, depending on where they get it, if they're getting it in bulk, they're probably getting it from some garbage place, and they're just poisoning you to shut the fuck up. And maybe by you doing things by the book, that's why you're in a place of, this rough patch and, trying to make ends meet, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And in this economy, that's exactly what's happening with a lot of the collective right now. How am I going to afford to pay rent? Well, I guess that's put up on the back burner now. I can't purchase a house because of whatever, because again, you're not investing in yourself. So I feel like it's time for you to weed out. It's time for you to clean something up. It's time for you to, branch off and start thinking. It's not like you need to go and quit your job if you are doing a corporate job, but maybe it's time for you to branch off and start doing something that you're passionate about. Start doing something that's going to make you happy. And maybe for some of you, maybe you did go to, you've been working from home, and maybe it's time for you to put yourself out there and start. Maybe it is time for you to put yourself out in the community and do things differently. And that's going to help you by partnering with other people. So there's got to be a change. I see the number 50 here, and 50 breaks down to a 5, and this is about changes. For others of you, this is about like starting a family business. and tending to a family business, something maybe you've wanted to do your entire life. Well, no time like the present. This is all about taking risks. This is about putting yourself out there and making money and, going where no man has gone before, you know. Maybe it's you're the first in your family to go off on their own. Maybe everybody else went to college and did all these things, and you're the first person in the family to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or maybe it was vice versa. You're the first person in the family that, has been able to purchase a home, or first person in the family that, thought outside the box and did something different, and you went against the grain. Every person's going to be different. But it was like, you needed to, change something up. Change something up. Look at that. We got the number 1. I want to read it out of the book. So let me get. So you got the number 1. And this talks about a new beginning, release from the past. You may have a fresh start any moment you choose. For this we call failure. Is not the falling down, but the staying down. To move on from failures or simply expand and explore new horizons, we make choices to leave the past behind. Whether it is in the form of treasured objects, of material or symbolic value, relationships, careers, familiar surroundings, or even personal ideas. At some point, we may have to discard them like a tree shedding leaves in order to liberate ourselves and allow for future growth. On the floor are 3 discarded cards, each a full, On the floor are 3 discarded cards, each a full from my 3 tarot decks. From the box, their spirits are released as doves for a new beginning. Ensure that the time is right to move on. Has your present circumstances been truly fulfilled, or is it being abandoned prior to its completion? Is it time for you to abandon something? Is it time for you to set yourself free from something? Release yourself from some type of burden? If you're having a tough time, it's like you need to do new things. You need to do new things is what it's saying. So however you've been doing it, if it isn't working, you need to do the opposite of whatever it is that you're doing. I do feel like there is stability waiting for you. I feel like even maybe for some of you, it's time for you to move. Maybe you've worked all the jobs in the area, your surrounding area, and there's just nothing there for you anymore. When you move to a new place, or even if it's across town, you see things that you would have never seen before. And you meet people that you would have never met before, and it opens up new opportunities for you, and it helps set you free. I want to see what the chopped wood means in this book for the prosperity message. Okay, I opened it right to it. It says, now is the time to take small steps rather than larger steps on the journey to creating your most prosperous life. Move your focus off of your big dream and attend to the mundane chores. Focus on the little things that may have piled up while you were mapping out the greater plan for the life that you aspire to see manifest into reality. Chop wood, carry water, as the Zen proverb advises, or wash dishes, walk the dog. While you're doing all that, Spirit will have a chance to move mountains and set wondrous miracles in motion for you. Remain humble and aware of the present. So there are things that are happening right now, but you need to tend to the details. Those details can be, reading that book. It could be, taking that class. It could be, going to that seminar, or getting out of the house. Like even if you can't get out of the house, and you do a seminar online, they have free ones, they have paid for ones where you're learning something that that you can adopt, so that if it's something that you believe in, and I feel like you're going to know, your heart is going to sing and you're going to be like, oh my God. And it's going to come very naturally. It's not something that you have to like conjure up all this shit. Because usually if you got to go through years and 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 years of education to do something, it's probably years and years and years and years of programming. And most likely you're not getting the information that you really need. So look at the source of where you're getting it from. And that's another thing that you need to look out for, is where are you getting your sources of education? You know, and do they really resonate with who you are anymore? Like I've seen doctors and nurses since all of this other shit went down since 2020, where they're like, holy fuck, like I don't believe in any of this stuff anymore. I realize I've been lied to. I didn't come into this career path to hurt people, and that's what I'm being asked to do. And now they're going into kinesiology, naturopathy, you know, homeopathy, and going down those lines and getting further away from science. Now, I'm not saying science doesn't serve its purpose, because it absolutely does. But more and more people are like looking at the education of what they've learned, and they're going elsewhere now because of what they've seen, because their eyes are wide open. So same thing for you in whatever industry you're in. You know, has there been an eye-opening experience that maybe it's time for you to take a look at, that maybe you just don't align with anymore? And you're done doing things by the status quo. Maybe it's time for you to go, you know what? This is blood money, and I don't want to have anything to do with this industry anymore. Like I can see, it's like, you know, these food companies, right? They know they're poisoning humanity. They won't even eat their own product. Yet they're okay with working for an industry because it pays the bills. But do you really believe in what you're doing? Do you really believe, like the Coca-Cola factory? How is it that you can work at Coca-Cola knowing that that product is killing people, giving people diabetes? Look at the children nowadays. What, like 1 in 3 persons has fucking pre-diabetes now. Do you see what I'm saying? So not all that glitters is gold, and it has to be something that you believe in, because just getting a paycheck isn't going to be enough in this new energy. And you're going to have to ask yourself, am I willing to set myself free and go on this journey in peace? Or are you going to continue to be that joker? Are you going to continue to be the joker in your life where everybody is like laughing at you and everybody knows that you're a fool? You can take that back that power in your own life. And then you've got the trees in the background. You've got the tree here. So wherever you're going, you're about ready to plant some serious seeds. When it comes to your finances, when it comes to your living situation, when it comes to, but it has to come from you believing in yourself and you investing in yourself and you allowing yourself to grow instead of you building another person's empire. You know, I see that all the time. It's so funny. You know, I'll watch people who will put decades upon decades upon decades in people's businesses. And then all of a sudden one day they come to work and the doors are closed and they have no pension. You know, I had this one girl who was like supposed to cash me out when she sold the business. I had done all this work for her, and then she sold the business and literally disappeared. I did the same thing. I helped these people landscape their yard. They were supposed to pay me this certain amount. And I did all this work. In fact, I almost cut off my own fucking thumb helping them. And then when it came right down to it, and even helping, like I didn't have their homeowner's insurance gone after, you know, when they like literally almost severed my thumb off. I, you know, was on the up and up, still went to work, helped them every day, landscaping. And then when it came down to paying me, they didn't pay me. You know, so how much is this work are you putting in? And in the end, you end up not getting anything, it not even fulfilled, and sometimes not even recognized for your work. So, you know, they'll replace you before rigor mortis sets in. And that is for sure. You know, your body hasn't even set into rigor mortis and they're already calling, asking somebody else to take over your position, because it's not about you. It's about production. So think about that, you guys. And remember that not all that glitters is gold. And whatever it is that you're doing, I feel like there is going to be financial growth. You're going to see money coming in. You will see a steady income, but that's all dependent on you and whether or not you're willing to believe in you. Anyway, love you guys all so much. Give this video a thumbs up. It costs you guys nothing. It takes only a second. Give me a heart. Let me know how this reading resonates with you. And if you are interested in a personal reading, please, all my information's in the description box down below. Love you guys all so much. Thank you for being here, and we will chat again soon. Take care.